So calling the 1 p.m. calendar on Health and Human Services, we are going to go directly to the GMs of Dr. Lewin and Valerie Cato, because we do not have form for the DM of the prior calendar. So present with me is my Vice Chair, Senator Aquino. This meeting is being streamed live on YouTube. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business. Sorry about that. Somebody is insistent on calling me. But in the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on March 6th at 1 p.m. in room 225. Your audio will be muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. Each testifier will have 1 minute to testify, except for the nominees. They will have at least 5. Okay. If there is a technical glitch, during your time to testify, we may have to move on to the next person due to time constraints. I will be reading a list of individuals who submitted written testimony for each measure. We apologize if the closed captioning does not accurately transcribe the names. If you're interested in reviewing the written testimony, please go to the legislator's website. You will find the link on the status page for the measure. We appreciate your understanding and remind you that the committee does have your testimony, that I reviewed them, so I encourage you to use your time to either add additional comments or you can stand on your written testimony. So first up, we have, GM 606, Valerie Cato. So for GM 6, come on up, Valerie. Please identify yourself.
Chair San Buenaventura, Vice Chair Aquino, any other members of the committee who may be watching, thank you. My name is Valerie Cato, and I'm here today to talk about my nomination for the position of Deputy Director for the Department of Health, for which I'm very honored and humbled to be considered. I want to thank Governor Green and Director Ken Fink, who is behind me, for placing their trust in me. I also want to take this time to thank everyone who has supported me to get to this point, many of whom have provided written testimony and are here today. I am very touched and appreciative. Thank you so much. I have submitted a resume and discussed various goals for myself and for the department in my written testimony. And so I want to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about myself that isn't really in what I submitted. I was born in Hawaii and was raised in Pearl City by 2 educators, Chester and Karen Cato. My father was an architect, but he spent most of his career as a professor at Honolulu Community College teaching drafting. My mother was an elementary school teacher, first at Ben Parker and then Kaimiloa Elementary School. And then she was a substitute teacher for many decades in the Leeward District. So as you can tell, education and learning was a very important thing to my family. In fact, for my entire family, extended family, education was really emphasized. I remember long hours spent at the Pearl City Library and walking home from Momilani Elementary School with my face in a book. But of course, it's not only just book learning, right? My parents also made sure I learned life lessons that shaped my character and my attitude. My father, who grew up very, very poor in Moilili, held multiple jobs while he was young to help earn money for his family because my grandfather passed when he was very young. This included working in a supermarket, working at a gas station, delivering newspaper, everything that you can think of. So when I was in elementary and intermediate school, my younger brother and I shared a paper route where, 3 a.m. we're delivering the Sunday morning papers. And that delivery route really taught me the value of every dollar that I earned, because it was darn hard to earn that money. I mean, just getting up in the middle of the night is challenging. But you know, we learned how to work together as a family. And honestly, it was probably worse for my mother, who had to also wake up, help me, and then follow along in her car at 4 a.m. as they ran to each house to deliver the paper. Over time, I learned how hard work leads to positive outcomes, how it really pays off. In high school, I was part of the famous Pro City High School band playing the clarinet. I didn't have the most talent, and I wasn't ever going to become a professional musician. But I worked at it every day, and I joined the Hawai'i Symphony, and I took every opportunity to perform. By the time I graduated high school, I was the drum major of the marching band, and I was a principal clarinetist for our concert band. But most of all, and most importantly, I got a 4-year full ride tuition to University of Hawaii on a music scholarship. What skill I had also helped with my living expenses, because when I wasn't working retail and working an office job, I was teaching clarinet lessons, and that really helped me pay my way through college. Of course, life isn't all work. Having to take medication because of stress, helping me down the path of an ulcer at UH taught me that. So after graduating UH with honors in English and a minor in history, I made sure to take some time for fun when I went to the Georgetown University Law Center to pursue my law degree. I joined a musical theater group, sang in the chorus, I sewed costumes with the Gilbert and Sullivan Society. I still studied, but I figured out how to integrate work with the rest of my life, how to be present in the long term, and how not to sweat the small stuff and avoid burnout and too much stress. And this really helped me to have a successful and balanced 17-year career of being a litigator in Honolulu. Almost all of that time was with the law firm of Ning, Lilly & Jones, where we made sure to take the time for self-care, and we never took the ups and downs of litigation personally. As my boss there, used to tell me, Val, we are litigators. We don't get ulcers, we give them. Finally, in addition to respecting the value of money, the benefits of hard work, and the importance of pacing myself, my parents made sure I learned how to do the right thing. And that's a pretty ambiguous and broad concept, I understand. But I think the story will illustrate. Many, many years ago, my father had been crossing a road in Aiea when he saw a wallet strangely fly up into the sky, land in the middle of the road. It had fallen from a passing car, and the car had already gone down the street, it was long gone. The wallet spilled open, and $100 bills started floating around the street. A young man, seeing my dad fumbling around, pulled over, jumped out of the car saying, Uncle, you need help. So the young man stopped traffic, and my dad is there on the street picking up every single bill that he could find, putting it all together. The wallet didn't have ID, but it did have emergency contact information in it. So he got me to help, and we figured out how to call this person. And it was the father of a woman who was getting married. And she had put her wallet on the top of the roof of her car while she filled in gas and drove off, not thinking about it. She had already called the police, and the cops told her, I'm sorry, but you're never going to see that money ever again. Well, I helped to arrange for the reunion of the bride and her wedding money. And my dad was just so happy to do it. In fact, he was tickled pink when the bride showed up to our house with a cake saying, thank you, Mr. Kato. And I really remember that. And I really think about that when I think about doing the right thing. I think about how to empathize with others and to do right by them, even if you don't know these people. I think about how important it is to maintain trust and having people know that you will do your best to act for the right reasons. And how, even if you're really, really tired at the end of a party that's not at your house, you can stay, offer to clean up, pack stuff, offer to do dishes, even if you really don't want to, because that's doing the right thing. So after 17 years in private practice and the closing of the firm that I had loved working for, I thought it was the right thing to do to go into public service, joining the Attorney General's office as a deputy. I'd already spent many years volunteering for the community for different nonprofits. And this included being an officer of the Hawai'i United Okinawa Association, Read to Me International, and Hui Maka'ala, a 75-year-old nonprofit that awarded college scholarships to hundreds of Hawaii students since the 60s. When the pandemic hit, I volunteered for the AG's COVID exemption team, reviewing travel requests and emergency proclamation policies. Eventually, upon request by the Attorney General, I transferred into the Health Division to help with the overwhelming legal work related to the pandemic. And I was thankful to do it. I was later fortunate to have the opportunity to serve as first deputy for AG Holly Shikata. Although I had not known her very well prior to becoming her first deputy, the experience gave me the chance to work alongside a knowledgeable, ethical, and capable attorney who I now call a good friend. More importantly, it provided solid practical experience at running a state department and understanding government policy at the highest level. All of these lessons, these experiences have formed the person that I am today. So when Kenny asked last year if I would consider joining the Department of Health and leaving my very comfortable supervising attorney job at the Health Division, I thought seriously about what I could bring to the position, what I could do to benefit the people of Hawaii, and what I could contribute to his vision of public health. I know who I am, and I accepted his offer because, one, I understand the value of $1 and how important it is to be a good caretaker of the public's money, whether this means spending wisely or making sure we pay our contract providers on time. 2, I am a hard worker who doesn't give up. I will dig in to understand pain points for our programs and collaborate with them to find creative solutions. 3, I am here for the right reasons, to make a difference in our department's workflows and help improve the engine powering the department by making procurement and hiring processes more efficient so that our employees can spend more time improving public health and not on extra paperwork that's redundant. These are all things I could not do as an attorney for the government because I could only provide legal advice and I couldn't change policy and the process. I firmly believe that the strength of the department is in its dedicated employees. I have enjoyed working closely with the leadership team and so many people across the department over the last 7 months I have served as deputy director. There has been a lot to learn, but I love learning. And I am thankful to so many in the department who have generously shared their expertise with me. There is also a lot to accomplish, I know that. And I respectfully ask the committee to look upon my nomination favorably so that I can continue this work with Kenny, the 3 other deputy directors, Kathy, Marion, and Debbie, my administrative team, and the department. Thank you for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have on my written testimony and what I've said today.
Thank you very much. Questions, members? Okay, none for now. But I'm going to recess this and go into the decision-making of the prior calendar now that we have quorum. Okay, so recess on GM 606. Do I need to gavel? Okay, and we are going to go into decision-making for the yesterday's 1 p.m. calendar. So we're going to take all the GMs in one fell swoop, okay, which is GM 541, GM 542, GM 543, GM 544, GM 545, GM 555, GM 560, GM 561, GM 562, GM 563, GM 564, GM 565, GM 566. Okay, Chair's recommendation is to advise and consent. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, Vice Chair for the vote for all the GMs of yesterday's calendar.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Recommendation of the Chair is to advise and consent all said governor's messages. Okay, Chair?
Chair votes aye.
Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Keokolole is excused. Senator Shimabukuro?
Aye.
Senator Alwa? Aye. Recommendations are adopted.
Okay, so for that calendar, we are adjourned and we are continuing, resuming GM 606. So stick around, of course, because we may have questions for you after. So testifying in favor of GM 606, we have the governor in support. We have DLNR, Pua Ayu. Are you present? In support? In support. Okay, next we have Department of Health, Kenny Fink. In support.
Aloha, Chair, Vice Chair, committee members. I'm Dr. Kenny Fink, the Director of the Department of Health. I strongly support and hope the Senate Committee on Health will consent to the nomination of Valerie Cato as the department's first deputy. If past performance is a predictor of future performance, then Val has a bright future at the Department of Health. She joined DOH about 7 months ago and has done an absolutely fantastic job. She is hardworking, problem-solving team player who is guided by caring for our staff and servicing the public. Val has the attitude that is my problem. She welcomes and embraces challenges, especially long-standing ones, and has become an important and trusted resource and thought partner to me. Her mindset is truly that of a first deputy, rather than just a deputy director for administration. She has a whole department perspective to accompany her initiative and willingness to contribute. Having been the supervising Deputy Attorney General for Health, Val joins already with a breadth and depth of knowledge about the department. And as an aside, I must recognize the Attorney General, whose staff I poached, for graciously supporting Val's pursuit of this opportunity.
She's in back of the room, by the way.
So that's why I didn't even know, but I sincerely, extremely supportive. Val's experience and advantage facilitate connections and enable the department to accelerate change. I believe Val is unquestionably qualified, has the right motivation of serving the public, has clearly demonstrated her ability to do the job, having already been doing it extremely well for the past 7 months. I'm respectfully asking the committee to support me, the department, and the public by consenting to Valerie Cato's nomination. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Department of Hawaiian Homelands in support. Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Louis Salavera, Department of Budget and Finance. Present in support. Ed Sniffen, Department of Transportation and support. Jordan Lowe, Department of Law Enforcement support. Sabrina Nasser, Department of Budget and Finance and support. Melanie Martin, Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation and support. Nadine Ando, Director, DCCA and support. Brigadier General Stephen Logan, Department of Defense and support. Hawaii Department of Agriculture and support. Mayo Ling Silliman of DAGS and support. Josephine Lum, Executive Office on Aging and support. Keith Reagan, Department of DAGS and support. Kristen Sakamoto, Department of Taxation and support. Gary Suganuma, Director, Department of Taxation and support. James Tokioka, Director, DBED and support. Tommy Johnson, Director of DCR and support. Jade Butai in support. Okay, not present. And Lopez, I see you, the Attorney General in support. Please come up. Your deputy got poached, so let's hear it.
1 of 10. Hi, my name is Ann Lopez. I am the Attorney General, but I'm here today testifying in my own capacity. And to be clear, I've taken vacation time to do so. I've known Val now for 20 years as a friend and as a colleague. I say that in my testimony, but what I really want to say to you is that Val is one of these women who we put GSD after their name. They get stuff done. She doesn't kick the can down the road. She recognizes there's a problem and she helps find the solution and then pulls the trigger to make sure that it happens. And that is absolutely what we need in government every single day. And Val has that passion and experience. And so I strongly support her confirmation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Karen Shishido in support. Karen?
Support.
Okay, thank you very much. Joe Campus, I see you here in support.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, committee members. Joseph Campos, Deputy Director, Department of Human Services, but here today in my personal capacity. I guess I have to go back and fill out vacation time.
Yeah, the AG.
Yeah, got to follow the AG. But my strong support of Ms. Kato is referenced or informed by my experience with her as the Deputy Director of the Department of Human Services. I had the pleasure of working with her during the pandemic when she was the DAG for Department of Health. And then recently with the response to the Maui wildfires. And she is beyond reproach. She is clear and concise and wants to make sure that the people of Hawaii are best served. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Jennifer Waihe Pope in support.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and members. I'm Jennifer Waihe Polk. I'm here in my personal capacity. I've taken my leave so that I could come. I want to support Valerie Kato for this position. I have known Valerie for almost 27 years now, since we met in law school. And I probably know her to the point where she can't hide anything. And it is everything that she shows you is true. She is just a go-getter. She's a problem solver. Sometimes you see big problems and you think, I can avoid this. And Valerie is somebody that will run towards it and take care of it. And I think people recognize that, which is why everything we've joined, from my nonprofits until she came to the AGs where I work, people seek her out and she moves up because they want her to do more for them because they know that she will. And I'm not surprised when she got to the AGs that she became, first deputy and then a supervisor, and that her clients sought her out. And I know that it would really benefit the department if they had her, and they'd be very lucky. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next we have Lindsay Garcia in support, Kevin Kunisaki in support, Michael Lilly in support, Dexter Kishida in support, Kelsey Nagata in support, Loretta Kaeo in support, whole bunch of other people in support here. Okay, no one in opposition. I think we got about 30 people here, including former governor, no, maybe not. John Waihe IV, your brother, okay, not the former governor in support. Okay, anybody else? And I see a number of deputy directors. I see Debbie Morikawa also in support, but in present. And I see John Lewin. Do you wish to testify in support?
I just wish to say that, as an attached agency.
Please identify yourself.
Jack Lewin, Administrator Shipton. As an attached agency to the Department of Health, and we're honored to be an attached agency. Sometimes those agencies kind of feel like stepchildren because, we ship the reports to the governor basically, but I want to just say that Val I think Director Fink and the governor made a great selection. She's already helped to streamline things that have been held up for years in our agency and move things forward. And I think she's going to be a fantastic deputy director. So I just want to wholeheartedly give her support on behalf of the team at Shipton.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else wishing to testify? I see a number of people here. I see there's, like I said, another 30 people. Okay, okay, please proceed. Come on up.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, Trista Spear. I am the other Deputy Director for the Department of Human Services. I am also here in my personal capacity today. Just wanted to take a brief moment to testify in strong support of Ms. Cato's nomination for the position of First Deputy in the Department of Health. I had the unique opportunity of serving alongside her first as she was one that hired me as Deputy Attorney General when she was acting as First Deputy for the AG's office, served with her and then continued to serve as a colleague when she was the Supervising Deputy of Health. As everyone has said here today, she doesn't shy away from challenges. She doesn't back down, and she is a GSDer, as AG Lopez says. So I wholeheartedly support her confirmation. She showed leadership. She is welcoming to new people to the team. She makes you feel at home. She helps get you oriented to the department that may be amorphous when you're starting as a new employee. She's incredibly respectful, and she works side by side and collaborates to make sure that the job is able to get done. And I'm excited to work with her now as we are colleagues and both members of the cabinet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else wishing to testify in favor or in opposition to Valerie Cato? Seeing none, members, any questions? Yeah, I do. Come on up, Valerie. Okay, I am impressed with the number of people who have testified. Specifically, they gave examples of how you got things done in the 7 months that you were in. Increasing efficiency of vital statistics, which we lawyers love, especially when probate is being held up and the like. But what I want to know is, what do you see in the 7 months you've been there that you see as a problem that hopefully, and the question is, what is your plan to fix that problem with the Department of Health? Biggest problem?
The biggest problem, I think we do things for no reason. Okay. So, and I'm talking about internal processes. No one has really looked at streamlining our contracting or streamlining how to hire someone or how to discipline an employee. And so when we do it based on what people remember someone told them that's how to do it. And right now we waste a lot of time duplicating effort. We have memos on top of requests for permission. We have, until recently, we were notarizing all of our contracts, even though there's a comptroller memo back in 2019 that says you don't notarize anymore. But we were going that extra step to get a contractor to sign that. And it delays contracts by a week or two, right? Because you got to mail it out there, it gets back. So I think that's the problem. The problem is we are doing things because that's the way it's always been done. And it's not anybody's fault. I'm not blaming anybody. Department of Health has been really busy. We all know the pandemic, Maui wildfires, it's constant, Red Hill, constantly one disaster after another. So it's really hard to focus on the administrative side of it. But that's what I really want to do, because I think, with our vacancies, we need to find a smarter way to get things done. That we're not spinning our wheels, we're not wasting our time. And so that's what I want to do. That's the most important thing that I want to do.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Go ahead, please follow up.
Thank you, Chair. Deputy, we talked about it a little bit. I spoke with the director about this during his confirmation last year. You have a big organization, which at its best is one of the most comprehensive public health institutions in the country, way up, light years ahead of many public health apparatuses in other states. And at its worst, it's a meat grinder of toxicity and backwards culture and bureaucratic rigidity that has ground up really good, talented people who are there for the right reasons. And we've all, I think, at this table been had very close view of some of the things that have happened because of the organizational challenges in different parts of the department. And like you mentioned, and the reason why I started off the way I did is there are many, many pieces of the Department of Health that operate exactly as intended and make Hawaii a better place. You know, aside from some of the things that you've been working just to clear the sort of low-hanging fruit and easy processes, what is your perspective on what I just said about the culture and some of the inherent problems that we've seen in the department that just make it hard for the department and for the legislature to assist the department in accomplishing its mission because of the impact that it has on good people who get caught up in the politics?
And that really does tie in with our policies, because sometimes what happens is we have all these programs and they know what they want, and they kind of butt head with our general administration, and it becomes an internal fight. I acknowledge, that does happen. What we want to do is we want to change the culture. We want to make sure that our people are all working in the same direction, because we're one team, right? We're one department. We want to do our best for the state. And so Kenny and I are committed to changing the culture, where we're not butting heads. We try to bring people to the table, try to get some consensus, and sometimes not everyone's going to be happy, but we want to get an agreement where everyone can live with the decision and live with the change and do the best that we can do. So that's a gradual thing. It's not going to happen overnight, but that's what we want to do. I want people to feel like they should not be afraid to speak up and say something. I'm willing to work with people, and my administration is willing to work with people with programs. And that's going to be how we want to be going forward. We want to really focus on customer service, both to the public and customer service within our department. We're there to help people get things done. We're not there to put up any bottlenecks. And so that is a culture change, but something that we're really working on.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that. And I don't even have to, I'm not alluding to any one situation, because there have been so many that I've come to understand, right? And we are here to help with that. Sometimes we have the tendency to make it worse, but that's where we need leadership that's willing to help educate us on what needs to happen and why it needs to happen in a certain way, right? But all of it is aimed at just making the department function better, because it can be better, right?
Yes, I agree. And I'm the first one to admit to mistakes, or if something needs to be improved, because that's the only way you get better at anything, right? You got to admit something's wrong and kind of figure out why it's that way, figure out how we can change it. And that takes time, but I'm willing to do the hard work. Everyone here is willing to do the hard work. And, it's been a great team so far this past 7 months. And I feel very confident that we can change the culture and we can make it better.
Good, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I have a question of Kenny Fink.
Don't blow
This
it.
committee got the authority to remove my confirmation.
We can make it really difficult for you so you quit, but we're not going to do that here. You chose Valerie Cato.
Yes.
Okay, it sounds like to me she doesn't have the health department type of, she's not an MD, she's not a public health, she doesn't have a public health degree. Her experience in health is basically as a deputy AG advising. Why did you choose her?
I've learned a lot during my time in this role. And one of the things I've learned is what I need in a first deputy. As others, I think, will say, so we have 4 administrations that you're all familiar with, right? One of the administrations is under the first deputy, right? So that's really, they do the admin work and they support the rest of the department so that the department can do, the programs can do their work. So having someone who can understand how to help the rest of the department do their work is what is most critical. And if you talk about the culture, which has been a priority for me, if you ask any of the leaders in the department, is caring for our people and creating a safe environment. We just had our last kind of leadership meeting, and one of the things we really talked about was psychological safety. That people have to feel comfortable offering ideas and making mistakes, provided they're following our guidance of trying to do the right thing for the right reason. So that culture is a priority of what we're trying to do. And how we internally, as a department, support our own people to do their work to support the public is the only way we're successful in responsibly managing our resources and best serving the public. So having somebody who can follow that approach of truly caring about the people's experience and truly believing that our employees are our greatest resource. And if we want to talk about customer service, it starts with caring for our employees. And if they feel cared for, their customer service will be better. So what I found that I need in the first deputy is someone with the right attitude, with the skill set to identify problems, roll up their sleeves and dig in, and the theme today is GSD, in a nice way that people understand. It's not a directive, right? So it's not leading out of authority. It's leadership out of explaining the why and building consensus and moving people forward together. And Val provides that. So her health or public health knowledge as the supervising attorney general, she had it, okay? And she had the breadth of it, which is far more important to come into that role to support the entire department. So I would say that she comes in with the best perspective and her personal traits to be an extremely effective and successful first deputy.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions, members? Okay, I don't have any further questions. I want to move on to the next GM before we vote. Okay, next up, John Lewin, GM 607. First up, Jack Lewin, please proceed.
All right, thank you. Aloha, Honorable Chair Assembly of Ventura, Vice Chair Aquino, Senator Shimabukuro, Senator Kale Kaloe. I'm really honored to be here today. I want to say at the beginning that I usually exceed my 1 minute during testimonies.
Well, you're allowed to because you're the nominee.
So I'll try not to go 5 this time. I sent you a bunch of material about the background and so forth, but I won't go over all that. Just a few things for why I am grateful and honored to be here today. To some extent, this is like a culmination of my entire career to when Governor Josh Green started calling me a few years ago, actually, to say, come back. He talked to the former governor, my boss, who remains a dear friend, saying, maybe we have some things we want you to do again here. And then I'm grateful to Kenny Fink for helping make that happen and find a path where this could work. So I'll start, though, I'll go from that back to the story of, I came over here to visit my brother when I was 20, and said, wow, this is the place I want to live, but I hadn't gone to med school yet. I hadn't done the things I needed to do. So after my training and so forth, I was in the U.S. Public Health Service doing some time to give back to the country on the Navajo Nation, and had the experience there of a kind of, it was kind of luck in a way, but a meteoric rise from being just a doc in a little small, tiny little hospital on the Utah-Arizona border to running a tri-state massive health agency for the federal government. And I get to know this guy named Dan Lanoe during those years, who ran the Senate Select Committee on Indian Affairs, who helped me do things like build a school of nursing that was entirely populated by Navajo people, and to build a school of pharmacy and built a school of, so actually training people to become the healthcare delivery folks. I got this exciting feeling as a physician that there are other things I could do that I really didn't think about in my training that relate to public health and other issues. So, you know, years later, 1979, before most of you were born, I came to Hawaii to be a physician and was on Maui serving for quite a few years until Governor Waihe'i appointed me to be Director of Health, which was a very, very life-changing and wonderful experience for me. Senator Kehoe, I do understand what you mean about how that agency can be a huge bureaucracy, and I'm grateful to Director Fink for taking that on for me right now, because I'm standing off to the side doing something more focused. And it is a big agency. But I want to just bring back that throughout my career, during the Waihe'i years, he had this amazing vision of let's get that old law that got stalled by the Supreme Court, the Prepaid Healthcare Act. Let's really make sure it works and get it enacted so that every employed person and their family have health insurance in Hawaii. Let's get the uninsured covered. And by 1990, we actually had a place where we were almost everybody covered, except for basically a few people who were, immigrants that couldn't be covered under the statute. So that was a heady experience. It was also the HIV epidemic time. We were the first state to do anonymous testing clinics and build, new kinds of treatment programs for people with HIV. So I never forgot that. But I was deployed by the governor to help Hillary and Bill Clinton with their version of the Prepaid Healthcare Act, which got a little too complicated, didn't get through Congress. And then to California, where Governor Gray Davis and Willie Brown decided they would do the Prepaid Healthcare Act, which in fact did pass in California. And why don't we all know that? Because this guy named Arnold ran for governor shortly thereafter. And he led a ballot initiative and he killed it by 0.5%. Subsequently, I'm CEO of the American College of Cardiology, helping President Obama with the Affordable Care Act. So I'm just kind of, and I had a couple other interesting experiences on my way back. But, my wife, Sandy's here with me today. When we first got here in '79, it was sort of like for her, she was in the arts world, she was a choreographer. She said, is this the place we should be going for my career? I've been with the Navajo with you and now this, wait. But it was only like a month later that she said, this is my home. I hope you can find a real job here, because I was just going to welcome Ken's job. So we raised our 3 kids here, and this is a home. And we bought a house then. We still have our house on Maui. So I would just say that the ACA Accord has always been kept us here. Never really ever gone in our hearts and minds from Hawaii. So, but that whole big cycle of health system reform and so forth, when the lieutenant governor was calling me to say, we're going to do something amazing here in the future, it just electrified me, because I was feeling like this has to get done again for our country, not just for our state, but our whole country. But, having gotten to know Washington, gotten to know Congress, and see all that, I realized they're not going to do it. It's going to happen at a state level and spread again from states. So I am just every day happy to come to work, excited, honored to be here. I understand you guys look at SHPTA and you go, what? Because it's the little agency with the certificate of need that everybody kind of every other year says, let's get rid of it. But on the other hand, it's actually a pretty good law, on the whole. It gives public notice. You get to vet something before it happens. But there's something much bigger. And that's what the agency was created to be originally in 1975. When the federal funds went away, the staff went away, the mission went away. And so we're building it back, but the statute's there. So all I want to say is, I think we are the place that will get universal access to high quality, equitable, affordable care for everybody. And we'll do it in a way that we can measure our way to success so that what's working and not working. And we'll do that together. And I'm just honored and excited to be here to help with that.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, any questions for Jack Lewin before we proceed? But we may ask questions later. Okay, moving on, Department of Health, Kenny Fink in support.
Hello again, gamers. I strongly support Dr. Jack Lowen's nomination to be the administrator for the State Health Plan Development Agency. Very early on, Governor Green made it clear to me that he wanted to find a place to bring Jack back. So this was a priority of the governor in wanting to bring Jack's familiarity with the state and his experience and expertise that he's developed since he had left the state to help inform policies regarding healthcare. With that, we looked to find a place, for Jack, and SHPTA was a natural fit. With its statutory mandate to provide high quality, accessible healthcare, affordable to all, I believe that we really do need to re-establish SHPTA to be the statewide health planning and policy organization. I think we're missing that leadership within the executive branch to help coordinate the activities throughout the state. There's a lot of people doing a lot of great work. So bringing someone in with that type of experience to help advance that role in partnership with the community and stakeholders is something that I believe is needed as we look at our current healthcare system and current expenditures, on and on. The SHPTA is an opportunity, I believe, to advance that and for the executive branch to take more of a coordinated leadership role. And this was an opportunity for Jack to come in and help lead that effort, and something that the governor felt was important and supported. So again, I'm here to support Jack's nomination to lead SHPTA, and also to support some of the measures to help restore SHPTA with the resources to execute its statutory mandate.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have Kathy Betts on Zoom. Oh, I see Judy Moore Peterson. Are you speaking for Jack? Kathy, proceed.
I am. Thank you so much. On behalf of DHS and Director Betts, we strongly support Dr. Jack Lowen's nomination, and we look forward to working with him in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Executive Office on Aging and Support, Jennifer Deesman for HMSA. You're not Jennifer. Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. Identify yourself and proceed.
Chair Sandman Ventura, Vice Chair Kino, Senator Gail Kolole, Walden on behalf of HMSA, just here to stand in support of our testimony and Dr. Lowen's nomination on GM 607. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Rachel Wilkinson, Ohana Health Plan, and support.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, Senator Hokulole. My name is Rachel Wilkinson on behalf of Ohana Health Plan, and we respectfully ask that you confirm the nomination of Dr. Lowen for SHPTA Administrator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Mike Nguyen, Aloha Care, in support.
Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, Member. On behalf of Aloha Care, including our CMO, Dr. Gary Okamoto, we do stand on our written testimony in support of Dr. Jack Lowen as SHPTA Administrator.
Please identify yourself.
Mike Nguyen.
Okay, thank you.
And part of that reason is just the alignment of vision for universal access, his vision for health equity, and for sustainable and affordable costs in healthcare. So for those reasons, we support the nomination. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Louis Urchik, Hawaii Disability Rights Center, in support.
Thank you, Chair, Senators. I'm Lou Urchik. I'm the Director of Disability Rights Center. I originally signed up for Zoom, but I could not resist the chance to come by and say hi to my former boss and just tell you in person how terrific he is. So I've known Jack since the early 90s. In 1990, 91, I was employed actually here as a staff attorney at the state Senate, right in this conference room. So I met Jack when we were drafting legislation. He hired me along with Bruce Anderson to work for the health department. He was a dynamic, visionary leader back then, and then he went on to have a national platform. Those were some golden years that we had over there when Jack was there, and everything he does great. So I am just thrilled to see him back in Hawaii. I agree, SHPTA probably was a little bit of a sleepy agency over time, but I think if anybody can help restore it to the mission that it actually has in the statutes, it's him. And so I think he's going to do a terrific job. I certainly look forward to working for him. So thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have Eric Abe, Hawaii Primary Care Association and Support, Francis Chan, Hawaii Health Information and Support, Hawaii Health Information Exchange and Support, Paige Choi, Healthcare Association of Hawaii and Support, Healthcare Hawaii Plans, Health Plans and Support, Hawaii Medical Association, Beth England and Support, Maria Garcia of Liberty Dialysis and Support, and another 20 people, all in support. Anybody else wishing to testify on GM 607? Members, any questions? It's just the two of us. Okay, so I do have a question, Jack. Come on up. Okay, so I know we have a number of these bills that that basically tries to beef up, attempts to beef up SHPTA to the plan that everyone is foreseeing, hopefully, that we could help you with. What happens if those bills die? What's your plan for SHPTA?
I'll be back next year.
Okay.
And, you know, I also have a, with Judy Moore Peterson, again, on behalf of our governor, a grant application going for a massive federal grant that would bring up to $50 million a year into expanding primary care, modernizing financing of healthcare in general, looking for better population healthcare at low costs. And so that's in the works, but only 8 states are going to get it. So I'm not going to count on that. I'm just going to say I'm just going to be determined. What was that phrase we heard here? GS.
Get stuff done, right?
Okay, and I'm glad. Yeah, I didn't know what the S stood for, but I'm glad it's stuff. But yeah, I'm planning to get stuff done.
Okay.
One way or the other.
So basically, grant writing. Do you have any? You and I have had discussions outside of this regarding your plans. I mean, and like Senator Keokolole has pointed out, Department of Health. I mean, you folks are going to be an attached agency, so you're not going to be part of Department of Health. But Department of Health is comprehensive. I remember seeing this organizational chart that is massive. I mean, surprisingly, even though DHS's budget is bigger, the organizational chart for Department of Health is twice as big. So you've heard Valerie Cato saying that one of her, basically her prime objective is to streamline. Is one of your, are you starting to sort of plan out the needs versus the capacity? This is what I talked to Dr. Champion about. What are the needs? Where are the programs that hopefully addresses the need? What is the capacity of these programs so that when the Department of Health starts coming to us, asking us for various programs like air ambulances, Molokai primary care physicians, where do they fit in this massive plan to ensure health care is provided to every corner of the state of Hawaii, right, without duplication? Yeah. Or if there is duplication, you know, hopefully efficient duplication.
Cost effective.
Cost effective.
Thank you for that question, Senator. First of all, I think there are many parts of the Department of Health that are key to this whole process that with which we must work together to get there. There's some parts of DOH. Data is the central key to getting this task done. Having the data to know what we're doing, how we're doing, what the performance is for hospitals and for the health systems in general. And there's really a great start for that. And thanks to all of you, through the authority of SHPTA, you demanded that the insurance companies provide claims data to SHPTA. It's a partnership between SHPTA, MedQuest, and UH.
Right.
Okay. We're not quite to full maturity with that, but it's close. So that by 2026, we should be able to really use that claims data to see what we're spending, where we're spending, what the diagnoses are that's related to that, to look at health status monitoring. But more importantly, the clinical data is, we need to help the health information exchange to complete their mission, because that's the clinical side of it.
Okay.
And the hospital association. So take the data and then bring together a team of people. Other states that have done this said you probably need to start with some high-powered consultants to help build the model, and then train your staff to use the model and to maintain it. And that's kind of the way we plan to go, Senator.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so
I have a follow-up.
Questions?
I can't remember what year. Several years ago, I was approached by SHPTA to ask for help recruiting members to the sub-area council that represents my side of Oahu. It was very difficult because certificates of need don't come up that often on the windward side of Oahu. And, as we're talking about this more global approach to healthcare planning, which I think is a great idea, and we've put in legislation to try and move that, what is your feeling on those sub-area councils? Because part of why it was difficult to get people to participate is they didn't understand what it was all about, and then they didn't do a whole lot when they got on.
I think that I can understand that. I appreciate that. I think they felt like maybe they were wasting their time. But I don't think they feel that way now, because we've got them excited about thinking, what should the future of healthcare in Hawaii be? What should it be in our community? What's missing? What are the problems that we want to solve? And so they're now inputting that into this bigger vision. If we were to be so fortunate to get the AHEAD grant, we'll need those councils to help us, kind of understand how to prioritize things in terms of local communities. So I think if you went back and asked the people today who are on those councils, they're going to say they feel a little bit more excited than they did a year ago.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So I'm just going to make a comment, okay? And that's basically, as former health director, and your resume is huge compared to what your current job is. I mean, it seems like you're overqualified unless we beat you up, right? So basically what I'm saying, it sounds like the governor and the rest of us, should we advise and consent to your confirmation, is going to be expecting a lot from you. And hopefully you won't disappoint us, because as you can tell in other Senate committee hearings, we can be merciless if you disappoint us. So we're hoping that you don't, okay, John? But any other questions?
Just a little bit of resources, and I will go
Yes,
through.
so long as you ask for it, but if you don't ask for it, it's difficult. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, any other questions for Jack Lewin? Okay, we're ready to, since we have quorum, we're ready to DM. So for Valerie Kato, GM 606, I'm also gonna make a certain comment on that. It seems to me that, when reading all of these testimony, a lot of it is, I could see pro forma because it's the governor's nominee. And so of course, everybody else falls into line. But I have to tell you, Valerie, when you were up here and when Ann Lopez talked about getting stuff done, I see Lola, I see Debbie, I see Michelle, I see Lauren, all nodding their heads, okay? So it doesn't sound like it's pro forma. And so just like I talked to Jack Lewin, we do expect a lot out of you, because you know the problems with a high vacancy rate. And it sounds like you know how it can be far more efficient. And with the toxicity problem, not necessarily, I don't know if it's a problem now, but at least it was whiffs of rumors of problems. hopefully, especially since Kenny Fink did not appoint someone from within. But it sounds like from the body language of everybody else that they seem so supportive of you, that we also expect a lot out of you and hopefully you don't disappoint us. So Chair's recommendation is to advise and consent. Chair votes aye, Vice Chair for the vote.
Okay, GM 606, recommendation is to advise and consent. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Keokolole.
Aye.
Senator Shimukuro is excused. Senator Awa is excused. Recommendation is adopted, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. So for GM 607, Chair's recommendation is to also advise and consent. Chair votes aye.
Okay, GM 607, recommendation is to advise and consent. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair votes aye. Senator Keokolole.
Aye.
Senator Shimukuro is excused. Senator Awa is also excused. Recommendation is adopted, Chair.
We are adjourned and congratulations